got in an argument with someone about the wage gap. And they really believe that men and women work right next to each other doing the same job, and the woman is only making 75 cents to the guy's dollar. I'm like,
that's what's been put out there enough
times.
But
this is a crazy thing to argue. Like, if you're going to argue that, if you're going to argue, you should know what that is. You should know what that is. Otherwise, you're just talking shit, which we all do sometimes. But you got to be willing to say,
climate change. It's I believe in this, I believe in that. It's like, which studies have you read? And it's almost always, zero studies.
Zero.
I like to believe this versus whatever. Luckily, we're not in charge of making decisions.
People love to put these studies out, like to tweet them out without having even looked at them at all.
Yeah.
Some of these are there's studies out there that prove you everything.
With wage gap. He's like, so you're telling me I can get the same, I'm a smart businessman who's made a bunch of money, and I can get the same level of talent out of this woman.
Or better.
Well, let's just say equal, but 75% or better. I'm sorry, ma'am. Sorry. Or equal or probably better for 75 cents on the dollar. And I'm a smart businessman, and I'm not going to go with the lower cost equal talent or better talent. That's how can I run a successful business making that kind of decision?
How can you?
Yeah, it would they would be hired at far higher rates. Yep. Or you can look deeper at it and be like, oh, it's just like total jobs or whatever it is. Again, I haven't read any of the studies, but I just listen to people who have.
I think you're right. I think there's something to that. If they really could hire the same people for the same job
for sure get that.
And get a woman who's just as good at it for 75 cents, it's horseshit, though.
They would hire only women.
The people don't know what we're talking about. It's all based on what jobs you choose. It's like, it's not, the men don't make more money because they do the same job and make more money at that job than the woman does. They do different jobs. That's where the wage gap is. The wage gap is in the number of hours that men work, the different jobs that they choose, what they excel in. It has nothing to do with like two people that are both, in the same line on an assembly line or something like that with the same amount of time in, and they both make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And rather, the male makes a dollar for every 75 cents. That's not how the wage gap works. It's just different jobs.
Okay, so hearing that information, like I remember when I first heard it, it was like, you can either go, fuck you, you're just trying to fucking shit on women, or you can go, well, I've never thought of that. Let me look into that a little bit, and then I'll get back to you. Instead of immediately reacting, fuck off.
Well, people get mad, like, that's not what it is. Like, yes, it is what it is. Like, you're foolish if you keep arguing with me, because you don't even know what it is. This is a dumb conversation now. I can't argue with you when I know that you haven't read any of the stuff that points to these numbers. Like, look, the thing is, no one should be, like, whatever you do, whatever it is, whether it is you make incredible sculptures or you build cars or you're a painter, whatever the fuck it is that you do, no one should be able to say that you doing this definitely should make as much money as doing that. No, things are worth what they're worth.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We remember Tommy DeLute's bowler?
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point he was ranked, I think, top 15 in the world at his sport, which is the equivalent of like, I'm trying to even think who would be, like Carmelo Anthony, let's say.
Right.
And this guy, Tommy DeLute's, at his sport, made 38 grand and Carmelo makes, 20 million.
Yeah.
Sorry, your sport's not as popular.
It's just not as popular.
Your weight class isn't as popular.
That's
Whatever
just how it works. Yeah, that's just how it works.
Your job is not fucking sought after.
Yeah. I could see how you would want more money.
Yeah, sure. Everybody does.
I get that. But like, there's certain people that it's harder to do that job, and the reason why they do it is because they know that it's more valuable. So they work harder and they get that job. Can you imagine being the fucking CEO of a corporation? How
I wouldn't want to do
much
that.
Pressure would be on you all the time. Being fucking Tim Cook over at Apple.
Well, that's why I don't get paid as much as him.
Exactly.
It's a fucking horrible job.
Exactly. Well, that is the same philosophy is the reason why women approach, and I say some women, I should say, because there are like super hyper-aggressive, career-oriented women that work as hard or harder than men, maybe even harder to prove that they're as tough as the men. But they would take the approach that you and I would take. They're like, fuck that life. I'm not doing that. Whereas it's statistically more males push themselves by working longer and harder hours on purpose to try to succeed. It's just a natural thing. They're trying to win a game. There's a competition game. There's putting points on the board.
By the way,
what
I think that's
materialism
a fool's game to get into. Personally, I see people doing that, my friends from high school, and I'm like, you're wasting your life.
Yeah.
For what? For a digit number. It's you're not doing anything with yourself.
The problem is, man, they get stuck in this loop of obligation. They get stuck in the loop of children and mortgage, and then once you have a car and a nice house, and you maybe you want to get a boat, dude, you get stuck. And you have all these payments and obligations, and you're not going anywhere because you have a family.
Jesus,
but maybe
horrible.
you always wanted to be a rock and roll singer.
Yeah.
And you never fucking got a chance to get out of the blocks, and you're living your life in this angry state, unfulfilled angry state.
God.
So the advice is for the young. The advice is for young people. The advice is for people that look at their parents and all these other people that are telling them what they have to do. Are they right? Or is there a fucking path out there if you just figure out what you really like to do and just only go that way?
Yeah.
Because if you go this way and then I'm going to take a couple years off and go that way for a while, and then I'm going to go back to school and get my degree just so I have something to fall back on, you didn't get any further down the road. You're in the same spot you would have been if you didn't do shit. You got to go forward. But if
do something forward, even if it's the wrong direction, you're still getting experience doing something.
Yes, you're finding out what it takes to succeed and fail.
But at least you're making the decision on purpose in order to get something you think is right.
I don't know what it's like.
Dude, I think more and more people are saying no to this old way of doing it, and more being like, I want to be outdoors. I value friendship over cash. Things like that, experiences over fucking money. And they're starting to go the other way.